back to the Nerd Report. I out of AKAs. I am drunk as hell. Sorry, I'm hungover. I'm not drunk. I don't record drunk. I'm hungover as hell. I am in recovery mode. Merry Christmas. How are you guys doing?
Is that us? You're talking to the audience.
I'm talking to you. I'm not going to talk to an audience that isn't here.
They got
Come on, Zach.
Yes, this is Zach, aka Sir Ludi Loco, aka the Beijing Colombian, and I am doing good today. I'm still on the hype train that was Spider-Man, honestly. I could go watch it again, and again, and again.
Yeah. This is Delvin here, by the way, guys. How you guys doing? Happy holidays. Just to agree with what Zach just said. I've been on a binge of everything that is Into the Spider-Verse since I watched it. I've descended into the music side of music circle right now, so all parts of the soundtrack I've been looping for days on end. And I just can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, I have not left that hype train at all. I'm still on it. Like every now and then, I just think of a scene from that movie.
Yeah.
And my Twitter is filled with all these different takes and interpretations of the film. It's been a week now, and like no one has stopped talking about it. It is huge. It was a big surprise. I definitely did not expect to get that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about the movie. Maybe a off article here and there, but generally fans, not even fans of Spider-Man, like myself, and I went with a few friends who are not into Spider-Man like that, but when they came on the movie, just wowed by what they saw.
Yeah, I know I saw like one or two people, they were just like, they didn't see the big deal about it. But I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but honestly, I think if you don't see it, you're missing the plot.
Yeah, all the people that I know that aren't hyped about it haven't watched it. I've been trying to get people to watch it, even people who watch like typical Marvel films. Yeah. And they've been just so like reluctant, and I'm like, dude, watch this fucking movie. And they're like, I don't watch animation, and I'm not into cartoons. And, and I'm just like, I've tried, but I can't make them drink.
You can't make them, yeah.
So it's like,
it's always a thing where like they're probably just gonna be home like a few months from now, see it pop up, like, just watch this movie now, and then they'll really see what it's about. But I mean, it's
pirates there.
There you go. but it's.
Please.
Yeah, I really hope this comes on that. I know. Like when it comes on Blu-ray, like I don't buy a lot of movies after they come out. I usually just wait for them to come on streaming services. But this is like the first film that I really would buy on Blu-ray.
Legal, kids.
Yeah, do not pirate. Don't pirate.
I'll watch it.
We do not
pirate. Full stop. Let's just end it there.
Asterisks. But I do plan to get the art book, especially for this book, for this movie. I think that I know all the people that are in the creative field of found ways to copy it. It's been sold out for a while at physical stores.
Yeah, there was a 50% off sale on Amazon the day that it came out.
Yeah, I can get on Amazon.
Wow,
I think
the day it came out.
The day it came out. That was on the weekend too, but I think by now it's probably done with. But
yeah, I've seen the pictures of it, but I haven't actually seen the book on sale anywhere.
Yeah. And for sure, check out my very first video essay that I did giving you a review on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That is on YouTube and on our channel, the same channel you'll be hearing this on. And subscribe to get more of my video essays. But that was pretty a project that I'm proud of doing. And it just goes to show this is the kind of movie that really like inspired me to do a lot. It's a very inspirational film for creators, especially.
Yeah, what's so dangerous? My shower in the morning song. It gets me going while I'm in the shower. That song, that scene.
Yeah, that's my morning ritual. That's my morning ritual now.
Exactly. Yeah. When I'm in the shower, I got that playing, and that gets me ready to go for the day.
Yeah, that's like one of the most iconic. I actually use that clip to show people like why they should watch the movie. Just watch that.
It's a really good clip.
Just watch that clip. That's the defining Miles Morales moment.
For sure.
No, and I think it's up there. That's one of the best superhero moments I've seen this year. Period.
It is, and I think it's also for me. It's my favorite version of Miles because like I read the comics, and the comics they're very average. They're never great, And I think it's mainly because, the guy who writes it, Bendis, he's very good at creating characters, but he has had a very big drop in quality in terms of how he scripts characters now. And it's been showing for a while in the way he wrote Miles. It's just been quite awful.
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that, because I've always been, I know about Miles Morales. I think he's like a pop culture icon for a lot of black nerds.
He is,
and everyone's been like freaking out about him. But I never really got the hype, other than the fact that his suit looked cool to me, right? But I never really got the hype until I saw this movie and the first initial trailer, and I was like, oh, he looks so cool. I was watching it because it was bringing Miles Morales. It was bringing Miles Morales to the big screen for an audience for the first time. But then I got a little disappointed with the second trailer that showed Gwen, because I was like, oh, it's not just him. And then it showed the whole, dimension hopping stuff, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not really a huge fan of like the Spider-Verse as a concept in the comics, but I was still gonna watch it because of how the film looked. But this is very much Miles' movie still.
It is. I know a lot of people had those concerns at first. They would say, they can't let the Black Spider-Man have his own movie.
Yeah.
But I think, I never felt like that was going to be a deviation. I feel like it really, for me, I got the sense that it was still going to be Miles' story, but these other characters were just to accentuate the point that, anyone can be Spider-Man. I think I got that early on, but like seeing that obviously the finished product is very much I guess like smoothing those fears that it was just going to be
I think it worked off the best, actually.
Yeah,
to be honest.
It did, and it really does show. Again, the point is anyone can be Spider-Man, and it goes to show. And I think like it isn't just fair to just center this only on Miles, because there's a fact that you also had a chance to put this on Gwen as well.
Right.
Because a lot of people did not like the idea of Gwen Stacy being Spider-Gwen. Even to this day, they still don't like
That's
it.
my favorite outfit.
Yeah. It's my favorite design.
The costume is awesome.
Well, second favorite.
Well, it wasn't until I saw Noir.
Right.
Until I saw that one. It was my favorite design until that.
I
love that one.
But I think my attitude is Spider-Gwen, because it came around the same time. I think that and Batgirl both debuted around the same period, where they're making female versions or rebooting.
Gwen
heroes.
Gwen was like in a big wave of kind of like a new consciousness in comics when we're making more female-led films, and also like changing the way that female characters are being designed. So there was no like big boobs coming out.
It was a sexualized out.
You're right. So it was more kind of age appropriate and more, I guess, dress appropriate as well.
Yeah.
So it was a bit different there. So I think like not a lot of people reacted to that positively. And I mean, I have been a part of some very hot internet debates around that time, because I was the guy who was advocating this is fine. Like, I don't think there's anything threatening about a female superhero.
I know the guy who I know discovered on my list, Jason Latour, the creator of one of the creators of the character.
Yes.
He was saying that when the movie came out, he fought so hard to make the character a thing, and he's just very, very glad that people are now going to love the character and see him on screen. And I just love that the film took the opportunity to address some lesser known Spider-Man that had to be brought to the mainstream. And I also think, and I think we're going to go into this when we talk about the visuals and the aesthetic and whatnot, but I like how they were able to make all these different characters work.
And give them so much time too.
Yeah, because literally a crossover of this, like literally is towards my argument for Justice League, because I was always saying that why force a crossover? Why not just do like individual films first, then do a crossover?
Exactly.
But this one manages to just throw everyone together, and it works perfectly because you have that nice focal point on Miles, but you're also able to give these different characters different moments and motivations and whatnot.
But I've been saying that for a while, because when again, like, is Spider-Man 3 changed how people look at movies, right? And it is a part of how like the discourse on movies among like comic book stories, it kind of goes like when you have one success, everything is graded on that success. When you have a failure, everything is graded on that failure. So, for example, like Dark Knight, everything was graded on Dark Knight. So, like, it seems like people are reluctant to admit or call something great unless it deals with the level of like dark and grimness that Dark Knight came with. Like, if they don't see that, then it's like, this isn't serious. It's just the jokes, you know. And if it has too many characters, it's graded against Spider-Man 3. Too many characters, they can't handle it well. But that was a failing on that film. Like, Avengers is a film that took 6 characters, and every one of those characters felt explored. It felt adequately handled. So Avengers like had already like dispelled that myth. But then you saw the films coming after that, they just could not handle this many like rotating casts. And again, Avengers came again and they showed you this shit can be done. And I think like this is like, again, a film that's going to show you not only can you put this many characters, but you don't have to do a whole solo movie, and then cross over. You can do it like that.
Yeah, you have to be smart about it, and you know, still stick to the principles of storytelling, but find ways to tweak it to have an ensemble cast and an ensemble villains. This movie had like what, 6 villains, 7?
It had, well, mainly Kingpin, but there were enough villains around that.
At least 3 major ones.
Right, there was a Kingpin, there was a Prowler,
and Doc Ock.
Doc Ock, yeah, which is that was quite a reveal.
I was not ready for that.
That reveal, I stood up straight when I saw that. I was like,
because that was when we saw that the drive-in. That was during intermission, and like they cut that right between intermission because he was like, what's your name again? I was like, Octavia. I was like, oh shit, what is it?
Intermission, I'm like,
intermission. I was like, what?
I was like, fam.
I was like, what?
I literally said, what the fuck? That's Doc Ock. And me and my friend, this I still like,
oh shit, the plot twist.
Yeah, they cut intermission just laughing at my jaw on the floor. Like,
because you didn't agree to not.
I thought it was just some scientist that Kingpin had under his thumb.
Yeah.
But no, it was
Doc Ock.
They lulled you into that sense of security because the way she looks, if you compare it to the characters in Venom, even previously.
But she just took off the scrunchy, like.
Yeah.
Like,
you had hippie like Dr. Character stereotype, and they found that she's actually Doc Ock.
It's basically like Professor Trelawney from Harry Potter. It's
that's
what she looks like.
That's a perfect comparison.
So Zach actually saw this movie twice.
Yeah, I did. I saw it first at drive-in, as you just said, and then I actually watched Olympus in 3D, which was not terrible actually.
It was amazing.
And I feel like is a movie that definitely should be seen in 3D.
I watched it in 3D.
There was nothing really popping out of you, but it was not hurtful on the eyes. They did go over with the 3D effects in it, so that's what I liked about it. It was,
I think
it was just very, you can enjoy it and appreciate all the colors, all the contrast that they had going on.
What was it like the second time around? Do you feel like it still held up?
It did, because the first time I watched it, my thing was I would have liked to have seen more of the other spiders, but then the second time I watched it, like, you know what, this was just right. I think they did enough with them. They didn't do too much. You got the taste of each of their characters, and you got to see of their origins, which was
the origins. Like the origins are very well handled. Like how they just like it's just very quick. It's like this how this happened, and just move on. Yeah. And again, like I told you guys before, like Peter Porker's origin.
Yeah.
It's like a radioactive spider that got a spider that got bit by a radioactive pig. Shit is like the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Because when I saw the trailer for that, I went to the wiki. I'm like, this cannot be real. Did they make this just for the movie? Like, what is this? And then I just went and read the whole wiki. Like, wow, he is quite something. Because it's definitely the most standout, and that says a lot for the characters you had the selection from. He's definitely the most standout.
Yeah.
I definitely I know that I was just like looking around like when I saw this like when it happens, looking around and see like I want to know who's gonna look at this and be like
I was with there 2 friends that were like who knew nothing, who hadn't seen the trailers or anything. Right. And they were like, what the fuck is that?
That left a big question mark, and it just moved on swiftly from there. You know, it was like, did this happen? It was like, what? Like, wait, hold on. Like Nicolas Cage was just like,
I had to go in the middle of the movie. This was a drive-in, not in a theater, so I could do this freely. But I had to Google in the middle of the movie, like, who is this voice? I know this voice. Like, It fits.
Nicolas Cage was like I would not have thought about it, but it was this
They
is
work
pretty
so
good.
well with he's supposed to be like the 30s, right, or something, the 40s,
Yeah, the 30s. I think it was in the
something
30s.
like that. Because the way he was talking,
Yeah,
was
he's
like
from
you could.
either from the 30s or the 60s, but yeah, it's from the 30s. Yeah, something like those old gangsters.
Yeah, that's what it.
Yeah.
The way he was talking, it's like yes, he did that so well.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons that these different versions work so well is one because of the intros, which I think was very well done.
Very well done.
Giving you a way to tell you that this is the character's origin, this is how they're very similar, but how they're very different in ways, and this is how they got here.
Right.
And then also, I think what makes it work is the visual aesthetic, how it changes when each character lands.
Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously, we start off with Miles Morales, which, in my opinion, the first 15 minutes of the film, I was like, "Hey, this could." I was blown away. But then
Like you're very much sold. You're just brought into his family life, and and his is very well grounded. Like I mean, this is a film where you have like a whole lot of stuff going on, but like when you see like Miles with his family and his mother, it feels very grounded. Like it felt very much like down to earth. This is a kid who was going to school, and he lives with a family. He's very normal.
Yeah, and finally I say Brooklyn too, which is a big change.
Right, and they did like a very good like recreation of Brooklyn. Like I've never been to Brooklyn, but just by looking at it, you could tell like this is a real place.
That street scene where he's just walking and let's see his friends from school and just talking, like that's literally how I imagine Brooklyn to be.
Like the way the environment is set up, it very much looks like you're in a real place. Like very good continuity and like how he's walking down the street. Yeah, and it's very I thought it was well done.
Yeah,
like those first few minutes,
they painted the environment very well. For anyone.
And they even also that the fact that Miles Morales is a graffiti artist.
Yeah,
and they found ways to introduce graffiti throughout his portions of the story. To
his stickers.
And that's something that it wasn't in the comics, because in the comics like he doesn't have, again, like that's what I say, like in the comics Miles, like again, I get Bendis' intention, but he really does not understand how to do a teenager, more or less a black teenager. So like you don't have a good sense of what Miles' interests are.
So this was
outside of being. Was that?
This is mostly Phil Lord's addition.
Yeah, like they did like a very good reinvention of the character. Like in the comics, like you don't know what Miles' interests are outside of the fact that he's Spider-Man. Like he doesn't really have like a thing that defines him. Like how Peter thinks he's a scientist.
Yeah,
Miles doesn't have anything like that.
And the fact that he was switching schools as well, that was part of his growing up to be put him where exactly he belongs.
Like legitimately, it was as if like when they wrote Miles in the comics, it's like, well, his defining thing is that he's black and he's Spanish,
and that was enough.
And that's it.
That was very pleasant. So I didn't know his mother was going to be Spanish. I thought it was going to be just an all black family. It's a very pleasant surprise. I heard this Spanish,
and he speaks Spanish like as well, and I was like that. That was a very much like for me like someone who's like black and Cuban. Like that was a very authentic.
Like you hear.
Yeah, it really hit me. Like hearing him speak Spanish, it was like, now this is the Miles that I want.
Yeah,
you know, like seeing him around and his mother like has that very much like black Latina mother aesthetic. I was like, this is very authentic. That is exactly how my mother used to yell at me when I was late for school.
I was like very happy.
And there are a lot of little things too, because like when a person movie, like a lot about Miles' character, and it's a little thing. When he's literally saying the song by I think is it Ty Dolla $ign? Is that him?
It's Post Malone.
Post Malone, that Sunshine, right? And he doesn't know the fucking words. So he's literally, I literally just watching him literally saying.
That is me.
That's everyone. Everyone's had that moment.
I know the chorus, but I don't know the rest of these words. Like, what is this?
And that I think that alone sort of the character.
It was very good,
And then like, you move from there and you move to that graffiti aesthetic, which again, the film started off at 100, and then we raise other characters, no Spider-Gwen. When she lands, the aesthetic changes to like bright neon, pink kind, and which matches the comic if you're familiar with the comic.
It's very much like, and they all did that thing like it all matched like the comic for Gwen. It's only different for Spider-Man Noir, because Spider-Man Noir, like his comic isn't actually in black and white. It's just more muted colors, kind of like a sepia tone kind of thing. But it's still colored. But here they did it more black and white, which I think was a better feel.
Yeah, I think that was in terms of the movie. I don't think a sepia tone would have gone as well as just black and white, because that's sharper contrast.
That's how to play with the colors and just how to define a character based by the aesthetic.
For sure.
The anime girl, Penny Parker. I don't know her actual
Penny Parker.
Her name, but
that caught me off guard.
Yeah, her code name is SPDR.
Yeah. So I like how she turns into like a literally anime character at some point.
Yeah,
I was
just getting into her robot and
pretty much like just and then she's got all like the anime eyes and stuff like that. It was all pretty like it was like everything made sense. Very well researched, very well done, and of course like the end credit scene was just
I was not ready for
that. Perfect. Yeah.
Like I was like Oscar Isaac as like Miguel O'Hara. Yeah. Again, like the voice casting on this is perfect. Great voice casting. I like that every Spider-Man, every version of Peter Parker was different. Because like obviously you have Jake Johnson who did like the Peter that crossed over from the other universe, but then like the Peter of Miles' universe was voiced by Chris Pine.
Oh, it was Chris Pine.
It was Chris Pine, because I was like, why is he blonde? If I was the first thing to hit me, I was like, why is this Peter blonde? Because Peter isn't blonde. And my first thought is it might have been Ben Reilly, because Ben Reilly was his thing was like when Peter's clone, like he was blonde. So I thought this may probably be like a version of Ben Reilly that became Peter. But no, it was actually like voiced by Chris Pine, so they modeled him after Chris Pine.
Okay.
So it's like, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. But like that end credit scene was just like classic. Be like, I busted a lung. I needed water. I needed like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I was dead. I was like, that was awful.
I had to watch on YouTube right after the movie started.
Because I don't know. Like,
the driver decided to cut it off.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
I waited there. It was like 2 minutes before it just cut off, and the Christmas music started playing. I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, because I told my friends don't leave yet, because it's like, it's
obviously gonna be one, I was very annoyed because I was waiting to see that you guys.
So I literally, when we were pulling out, I was like, I'm willing to use data to watch this right now. So that's what I did.
No, it was classic. That was perfect. Obviously, a sequel is already on hand for this.
I think Sony has succeeded in what they're trying to do for.
Make a good Spider-Man movie.
Not that, but
this is what, the seventh movie for Spider-Man in the 2000s?
Yeah, but this is their first big win.
Yeah, they've been trying to establish a universe since Amazing Spider-Man.
But a lot of the things, because they had like a Silver Sable movie and that got scrapped. And a lot of the things that they wanted to do were just like nonsense. Like, they wanted to do like an Aunt May spy movie, this is garbage. They want to do like a Mysterio movie, a Sinister Six movie. So it was just like, I think like Venom, for all intents and purposes, Venom was garbage. I know Venom made a lot of money.
Venom was bad.
And they're doing a sequel, but I think Venom was garbage.
Really I'm glad you actually mentioned that as a Spider-Man fan. Because people don't get it why I don't.
Venom was garbage.
I haven't heard good things. I'll say that much.
Now, I didn't hate it. I didn't feel like I was bored watching it, but a lot of time watching it, I was like, this is not good.
That was 13 years. That's a 15-year-old film that came out this year.
It was literally, you know how I said that with Humans? Like, they literally just filmed this movie like years ago.
Yeah.
Put this in a time machine. And then like literally on Earth, it was like, oh, like, it's just real here. It's just put this shit out.
Yeah.
It's done. Might as well just do it.
Yeah.
But like this, Venom was not good. Like, I mean,
I'm glad you mentioned
the only part I like the voice for it, because I feel like the voice was very good. But then there's like a moment where this isn't going to be a better review, but it was just so many moments in that film that I felt like everything was just so rushed and haphazard. Like
again,
you went from this voice being Eddie's head, and then all of a sudden Venom is Eddie's friend. Just like that, and it's like this. You guys were never really that.
It doesn't belong in a post. Far less a post Marvel MCU.
It doesn't belong in a post Infinity War.
It doesn't belong in a post Dark Knight world either. It literally is like belongs in Batman Forever, Schumacher.
Pretty much. That is exactly what it was. This was like a spoof movie.
Yeah.
And I think like they should have been more accepting of the fact that this shit is a joke. Let me just make it a joke.
Yeah.
Like, it was not good. I don't think they should even make a second movie.
It made its money though, so
it made its money, so it's probably gonna do it. But I think like this is their very first big, well-deserved win, and I think like they should just move in this direction.
I agree.
I think they should keep this team. They should make sure that this team is happy. And I think like my thing with Sony is that they don't know how to handle success. So I'm very excited that this is gonna get sequels, gonna get spin-offs, but I'm also very concerned about what's gonna happen from here. Like they're gonna be like, oh, we got this now, and they're just gonna fuck things up. So I'm watching it very closely.
Well, from a corporate standpoint, I think Sony is trying to patent the
technology
visual style. Which I personally am against that because I want it to become widely accepted. I want people to actually try to emulate it. Because when I was watching it, I've obviously never seen anything like this before in animation.
Right.
You've seen bits and pieces of it. Like I can actually name like a couple of things. Like I think Peanuts is the only thing that comes close for that 3D frame rate in 2015.
Like Kubo and the Two Strings, I think was probably closer to that. Yeah. And also one of the people who worked on it was also like the key director on this film, so you saw a lot of similarities there. Right.
This God Eater was trying the same technology as well, but that's like only the 3D frame rate stuff. Right. Then you have the stuff that the color scheme, the aesthetic. You see that probably in what JoJo's. If so much,
it's very similar to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
The whole onomatopoeia, and then obviously they try new things with the whole the lines, the dots that they have for the comic.
Yeah, like the Bengay dots.
Right?
Because it had like that pop art style.
Correct. Right. So it's bits and pieces together that you never see it fit together in one film before, which kind of makes this film kind of like a puzzle to me. Like
you haven't seen it done that well. Because it was a very well contained. Like they didn't just go well with it. I actually I'm okay with them patenting it because I don't want it to be so saturated that it gets old before.
It's not something to get old.
But I mean, I just don't want it to be done to death before it gets its trying to really be.
Make its own.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen because it's like already, like I told people before, the film already started off. The first 15 minutes was already high. They didn't have to go to the nth degree after the dimensional stuff. Like literally, there's pieces of art everywhere. The glitches, like the way they look when they actually even that alone, I was like, that looks so fucking sick. Like there are moments I was watching it and I was like, yo, these men like on a different level. They already started off high and this is like showing off at this point, right?
Pretty much.
So even if the people copied it and copied the first 15 minutes, I don't even mind that. But the film already has so much degrees visually that is like it's gonna be hard to emulate.
I like how they called one of the glitching thing. Like one of the like a street lamp stayed glitched after the everything. Somebody was like, I think it's a bank scene. I thought it was a funny little nod in there. That just reminded me when you talked about the glitching.
It's a lot of like moments. I'll tell you one of my favorite moments of the film too, visually. The chase scene, the two chase scenes. The one when
the first one right after Peter died.
When Peter Parker, when they thought Miles.
When Miles is running away from the Prowler.
The way they used not that one. When they thought that he was robbing the grave and he had like Peter on his back. To show information, and this literally is a comic book brought to like.
Like you literally just sound like something I mentioned in my review is like it really is like and that's what they said. Directors, they want to make it like it's a comic book that has come to life, and like legit, you just have things like panels like switching, and it's not something. It's interesting because like, you do that in comics because like comics can't they have to tell like passage of time differently than film does, right? In film you can just show a scene progress or just like cut to a different time, but comics have to do like time progression a bit differently. In film you don't have to do that, but the fact that they still did that in the film, it still was able to
mimic it
and achieve the same purpose.
Correct.
Even in film.
Because the thing about paneling too, as a comic creator, paneling is a skill. Like, when you see someone who's really good at paneling, it's like, yo, this man is on one. He's really good at understanding page economy, at presenting information. So to have that same effect in film, in motion, is extremely
really good, and it's really like an understanding, because the paneling isn't just like I put one box here, second box here, third box here, and then it goes different things like how do I like show motion without using motion lines, like, all these different things, like how do I show like a character is being like their space is being like growing smaller because they're being surrounded. Just different ways that comics
How to convey time
right.
and motion. Yeah.
But I like that. I like that homage to it, and it's a thing that I know like people are looking at it, and they kind of like they've left it growing interested in wanting to read comics. And I think that's very good.
Yeah, I've never wanted to read comics more than
I've only watching it, right?
Yeah, because I've only really read mangas. I've never actually read Western comics. I only read mangas. But this definitely made me want to pick up a comic book and read.
Like before, and I think this like goes on to my overall impression of this movie. I don't just see it as an animated film. I don't see it as a Spider-Man film. It's art to me, right?
Oh, it definitely
and I think
is
what
art.
it does, it transcends its media. This was very similar to the whole Black Panther. I said before that it transcends its media. This transcends it, but in a different way. I think that before I always used to say that some comics can't really be made into animation simply because the art style for the original comic is kind of hard to mimic that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Until I saw this film. Because this is very reminiscent to something like Greg Puccini's work, like in Law and Last Days of American Crime. It's reminiscent of some books that I've seen from Ankama. It's even similar to Gotham Academy. I don't know if you ever read that.
I never read it, but
You've seen the pages,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's similar to that. So the way that you're able to capture that aesthetic and put it in an animated film purposefully is extremely impressive to me. I think that is something that I would really love studios to try to attempt in the future, because some comic book artists has a hand. I mean, we just mentioned it before the show. Like you have Mike Magnolia, who you can't really emulate his work properly in film or animation, but I feel after this Into the Spider-Verse film that you could probably see that in the future. Someone who's saying, "Hey, we're going to make a movie, but we're going to capture your style
exactly,
and put it on screen."
And again, and it's a good way of saying it, because I think like Marvel tried to do this with Marvel motion comics, like Marvel Knights.
Yeah,
they tried doing it, and
I never heard of that until I watched.
I heard it in a review.
Yeah, but Marvel Knights is like they basically tried to redo the comic book stories by using the same art, but like it was nowhere near as complex or like as sophisticated as it did it here. So I mean, I think this is good for them to try doing this with more things. This might be a
video game in this style now.
Yo,
yeah,
there have been like there was the Ultimate Spider-Man video game that was for PS2.
Yeah,
they used to be like the same way. It was like the same
and then like
art style of the comics.
I think Beautiful Joe had a fit.
Beautiful Joe
had a similar.
I mean, you have Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is like that now.
There's a book
pretty close.
Exactly. There's a book I'm playing. There's a game I'm playing that's based on a book called I don't know what the name of the book is now. Night Chasers.
Oh, you mean
Battle Chasers?
No, I don't mean by Joe Mad.
Yeah, there's a book by Joe Mad.
Yeah. I think it's Battle Chasers.
Battle Chasers,
Night
yeah.
War.
Battle Chasers, Night War. Yeah, that is based on a comic by Joe Mad, and the game is set in the same art style.
Turn-based, same art style.
Yeah.
Even like things that haven't gone, like again, the way that the game changed aesthetically, the movie changes aesthetically based on certain events or certain environments is very similar to like the stuff we see for Ninja Theory, especially for the new DMC reboot. They trade that. And then stuff like Sunset Overdrive. Like, there are games that have emulated it somewhat, but again, I've never seen it to this degree.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But we talked about Spider-Man. You can again check my YouTube, check my review, so you can get some more what my thoughts were on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So in terms of we spoke about Mike Mignola, Hellboy. There was a new trailer for Hellboy that released this week. I didn't see it until right before we started the show, and I must say
I was underwhelmed.
Yeah. Well, there you go. In comparison to the Guillermo del Toro version, I'm not feeling this. I don't like the look of this Hellboy either. At least in comparison to the previous one. Like the previous Hellboy looked more organic and natural.
Yeah.
This you can tell. Like it looks weird. It looks very weird. It doesn't look like the costuming doesn't look as good as.
I think my first initial reaction, because I still had the poster in my head when I saw the trailer, so I was thinking in my head, oh, this looks really badass. But then when I went and rewatched it based on sort of reviewers' reactions to it, I was like, okay, I could see why it looks kind of bad. It kind of looks like a TV movie on second viewing, which is not really an insult because TV has stepped its game up, but still, it doesn't seem big screen. Like, if this is a series or Netflix, I don't mind. But
yeah, it's, and another thing, like the trailer is cut quite badly. I feel like the trailer does not tell you anything about who Hellboy is.
I don't know anything about Hellboy really. I've watched the movies, the originals, like years ago, but I only remember them being fun. I don't remember anything about Hellboy as a character, and this did not help that at all.
Not at all. Like I honestly don't know like what, and I get like, you know, for people who've seen it before, it's fine, but it's been almost 10 years since the last Hellboy. Yeah. So you got to reintroduce this to, like, you know, people who don't know, because Hellboy was not a film that, I think it's the second movie, it didn't make a lot of money. It's a film that got cult following and it got like a second life on HBO showings, on cinema showings, on DVDs, on streaming services, but it's not a movie that people flocked to the theaters to see, which is the reason why like they were so reluctant to release a third one, and why Guillermo was like fighting for years to get a third one released. And this does not do a good job in telling you who this guy is, what is going on here, why you should care. It's just like a random clips of things put together. Yeah. And when I look at this, it's like, you guys should have just let Guillermo do it.
Yeah. It's definitely missing his hand.
It's missing his hand. And I think like after he did The Shape of Water and won a fucking Oscar, they are going to regret this even more. Because like, he literally went and was like, I'll show y'all that you're fucked up. And he did.
Here's a fish.
Like, you know, like and really, if you look at The Shape of Water and look at the fact that this man won an Oscar, just think about it. Because Shape of Water is
Pan's Labyrinth came out as well after.
It was after or before?
No, that was before. That was before.
Was it?
That's the reason he got the job. I think.
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth was, I think, 2006.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's the reason he got the job.
But when you look at Shape of Water is basically an Ape Sapien movie. It is Ape Sapien.
Yeah.
And if you had let this man do Hellboy, when he wanted to do Hellboy, and you see that Oscar that was in his hand, that would have been for Hellboy. Yeah. Because he would have done that. He would have done that shit, and he would have done it good. And I think that is a big flaw. I'm definitely going to miss Guillermo in this, because Guillermo has the eye for that pulp story, sci-fi aesthetic that Mike Mignola did so well in Hellboy comics. Yeah. And I mean, I like David Harbour, but I don't think this is it.
I'm going to keep an open mind though, because something about this reminds me of Judge Dredd, because the Judge Dredd reboot, from what you remember, the first version had a very like fantastical presentation, whereas the reboot seems very grounded, and the reboot ended up being tons better.
The reboot was like the Raid.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing is like I watched the reboot and I felt like I am watching the Raid.
It's Raid, but it's just
it's Raid with a guy in a costume.
Yeah, but it's still a good film.
Yeah, it's still really good. Like I definitely enjoyed it.
So I'm thinking that. Okay, visually it isn't there, but we got to see how the actual film plays out to see if it's actually decent or if it's good. Expectations are low, but
expectations are low, and that's like again, like I at least I'm ready going into it with low expectations. Yeah. Another thing that I saw is like CG looks awful, and these special effects are not there. Like again, missing Guillermo's hand. The special effects are not as polished. Yeah. And like where the CG is, like, there's a scene with this big giant creature walking through I think London.
Oh, it's London because they played that awful Fergie song. That's how I know it's
London. No, I think you're remembering the Men in Black trailer. But yeah.
I'm getting so confused now.
Zach is mixing his movies up.
They're both so unforgettable. They're both so forgettable.
But there's a scene where like this big giant creature is walking through the city and is about to crush a bridge. But if you really look at it, the bridge falls before the creature makes contact with the bridge. Yeah. So I
didn't notice until post.
I was like, this is not.
Go watch it again.
This is not.
You can't unsee it once you see it.
Once you see it, it's like, this is.
You can't unsee it.
This ain't it, Chief. I don't know. I like David Harbour, so like, I want the best for him. I think like even if it's not great, it would be at least fun, and I would hope that Universal has. It's still with Universal.
I think it's Lionsgate Summit, right? I think I
It
saw
might
Summit.
be Lionsgate.
I saw Summit in the beginning.
Okay, so I may have gotten my studios wrong,
Yeah.
but I do hope that they have the sense to wise up and bring Guillermo back for a second view, because again, like Ron Perlman is still willing and able to do this.
do it,
So
yeah.
I don't know why they just decided to just do away with everything that Guillermo did.
I think that's one thing too, because again, I did not. When I first saw the Hellboy poster, and even the David, what's his name, David Halber, right? When I saw him, his version of Hellboy, I was like, he looks actually cool now, because I remember Ron Perlman
It was ripped.
looking like, yeah, he having like a gut, but then I realized that
Right.
it was pointing out to me that the comic actually looks like that too.
Yeah, like in the comic, he
Yeah.
isn't like this big physical buff guy. Like in the
Yeah.
comic, he pretty much has like a big like rotund belly. You know, he looks like a
for all.
right. He looks like a guy that has had a lot of beer, and
Yeah,
he has
like
because he
Peter.
does drink a lot of beer and he eats a lot. So his physique reflects the physique of a guy who eats a lot of junk food.
True.
Right. He's not an action hero. He's a detective. So I think like that is something that is often like missed, and something that like Guillermo's version captured. Like
Sure.
he also has his detective eye, and he had that kind of gut, like you know, like he's an average Joe, who just happens to be a demon.
But this one though is definitely superhero out. So I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
he's definitely like hulked out. He's very like buff and has a six pack.
And he looks cool.
Yeah, which is, I'm not against it, but again, like my problem is just like the costuming is not as polished as it was under the previous eye. But yeah, but I'm always there for Hellboy. So you know, I'll be looking to see what becomes of that.
Believe in the poster, guys.
Believe in the poster. The second last thing we're going to talk about. I'm just going to make this a very short episode because I'm very hungover. But like Men in Black International, you know that trailer released today.
A series I didn't expect to be rebooted. So.
Yeah, it was in the works for a while, and I did want, you know, it is like in the list of things that I want to reboot it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the list of things that I want to reboot it is one was Men in Black, and the second one was Rush Hour. I would like a Rush Hour reboot.
I've never watched any of those.
I don't know who could capture the chemistry between Tucker and Chan. though.
You don't need to recast it. You just bring them back.
Oh, bring them
Just
back.
bring them back. Just bring them back. Like,
yeah, 'cause
and it's easy. Like the two of them, I don't think they're doing anything right now. And
Chan is still doing action movies. He hasn't gone the way of Jet Li that version.
yeah, and I mean, they could just be like old ass guys like trying to do one last job, and
We want another Die Hard 5?
No.
Is that what you're requesting here?
definitely not. Like,
Be careful what you wish.
don't put those words in my mouth, Ricky Bobby. Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan are still very good friends. You know, I think they could still make it happen. But I digress. I think like Men in Black International. Because like the last Men in Black movie was like awful. It was a very terrible way to end the series.
Terrible.
Like it was.
I always like those movies, but I know they're not good. I like them, but I watch them because I
you
enjoy
take
them.
that back. You take that back. Like, you crossing some real motherfucking lines right now.
I
I
watched
don't think
one
they're
or two.
good. They're fun. No,
I hate 3.
You crossing some motherfucking lines.
the thing I did like about 3 though was the young Agent K's actor was excellent. He did Agent K perfectly.
Yeah.
That was what I will give for.
That was
I can't remember the actor's name.
Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Thanos.
Yes.
Yeah, Thanos was young Agent K. Which again, it was
He
makes
did, I
sense.
think he did that role
Yeah.
spectacularly.
Nah, that whole shit was
But the movie,
a fail.
as a movie, no.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Time travel was always an iffy thing to play with, and they did not play with it good.
But I mean, I love the first. I remember being like hugely influenced with the first Men in Black movie, and I used to watch the Men in Black cartoon series as well. So
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
you know,
I don't remember that. I used to watch that.
yeah. So I'm interested in the reboot. The choices that they made is also interesting. Tessa Thompson.
Yeah,
I'm
Colin.
glad
I
she's
think.
there.
Yeah, I think she's definitely a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the perspective that they're going for too, because obviously they're doing the whole rookie veteran role again, but like the veteran knows scenes at the fuck up and the rookie scenes at the badass, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it seems like the veteran's kind of a lazy cop kind of thing. That's what I got from the trailer.
Yeah, he's very much like a douche. Like, well, not a douche, but very clueless. Like, and his comedic timing is awesome. Like, is very good. And I think like he's one of those guys that really found like a good second life as a comedic actor. So and it suited him well. It really suited. I think like his appearance in Ghostbusters was like a godsend.
Yeah, I don't watch him in Ghostbusters, but definitely from Thor Ragnarok, seeing him as in comedic roles and his sense of humor is just like, wow, he's really good at this, you know. Very similar to Hellboy and Gosling. I didn't see any two of them having such good comedy chops, but yeah, they definitely sell it very well.
Definitely sell it well. I also, another thing that I really like. Hold on, just kidding. Let me answer my text here.
Don't text and podcast, kids.
Don't text and podcast.
We're just freaking fill the dead air of random rubble to get entertained.
Oh, this is the trailer that had the song. I was like, why are you playing London Bridges? Fergie, it's
very distracting. Like the trailers, both trailers have bad music. That's the thing about that. It's very, very distracting. But I do like. It seems very Kingsmanish now.
In what sense?
Men in Black, cause like, you think about Men in Black before. When it first came out, around the late 90s when it first debuted, right?
I think the first one was late 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s. So, like, that was when the FBI still had that air of mystique and, you know, everybody liked the way they looked. And the Men in Black really was a term that people used to refer to the FBI in media. So it kind of made sense. They had this whole official government vibe, but now it seems like a secret agent. It has a kind of James Bond feel.
Yeah, I always saw it as like a loose immigration story.
Yeah,
that's pretty much
what it is. Except for a country, it's for Earth.
Yeah. Basically, like they're basically border patrol. Like, and I guess they're like ICE. They were ICE. Like, this is so true.
Yeah,
but I did know the first time I saw Men in Black, I saw it with my parents. Because when we had like chubbies.
Oh, I remember renting that when I was younger.
You used to try used to just go rent some movies, and then like they were watching Men in Black, and that for me was just like wild, you know, because that was my shit, like all that sci-fi stuff.
Yeah,
I think it was like my shit before I even knew I liked it, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that and Independence Day were my first like proper introduction to alien movies.
Yeah, well. Very true.
Very drastically different approaches to aliens.
Will was in both. I know,
that's true. Will Smith is in both of them.
And that was my introduction to Will Smith, because I was like, this guy is pretty cool. Like, he's very fun, very easygoing guy that I could really like get to. I think like from there I became like a big Will Smith fan. Like, if I saw a movie and saw his face on it, I was just watching that shit. That's why I ended up watching Wild Wild West. Sorry.
But like the whole thing with Men in Black originally, and that's what makes Will Smith character so cool. Is like he said, "They never seen me and you." Is like, I made this look cool. We used to have the shades and he had a little clean cut.
Right.
He made it look badass. Where Tommy Lee Jones's character was more like a government G-man. You know,
he's very straight, direct to the point.
Right. This one, though, everyone looks sleek and cool, and it has like a Kingsman look.
They look like they're having fun. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and it's always been like the philosophy of Men in Black movies is like a fun action film.
Yeah,
and I think, but it still manages to be endearing, and that's why I like. Between the first and the second, like the relationship between J and K was always something that was very, like, much like the meat of the story.
Yeah, and I think they're going on that line again with this one with Tessa Thompson and
Liam Neeson, isn't it? That's also an interesting addition.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'm not like super hyped. 2019 is going to be stacked as it is. But I'm looking forward to seeing more of it when it drops. I probably will rent it.
For sure. I mean, I think I'll definitely be there. I feel like this year I haven't been at the movies a lot unless it was a Marvel film.
But like, so much good shit came out this year.
So much came out. That's the thing. Like, I missed it. Like, I'm only now catching up to it. I saw Incredibles like a week ago.
So I prefer that to the original. It was so well done. I thought I loved it.
I kind of prefer the original. Yeah, I don't like this one as much. I think like it failed on a lot of levels. Like, for one, like the villain just wasn't as good.
I like the villain, but I don't think they followed through.
Yeah, it was. I
think they followed
for me, like it was just so basic.
Yeah.
You know, it was basic. Like in the words of Ted Danson, you're basic.
Yeah.
It was just like I was watching it, and from the minute, right, that guy's sister came up,
you knew it was
I was
her.
like, something's going on here.
Yeah.
Because like one of them is the
That much was obvious. I'll give it that much.
I think that I think what Incredibles 2 is that I love that they played with the aesthetic a lot. The action scenes were definitely amped up. But I think that what the villain stood for, I liked. But unlike the first one where they actually followed through with it, this one they just like, here's this idea, but it's
like
left behind.
And it wasn't explored. Like I don't think like for me, I get it, but for me, like it doesn't make sense. It's like, why exactly do you want to stop superheroes like this?
It is. I understand the reasoning. It's like
I didn't get it. For me, I didn't get it.
The whole thing of it being like consumers and just being lazy and superheroes just being to be saved, and she wants it that people will actually start helping themselves more, which I kind of get. But the way that they executed it in the film was kind of like lame, as opposed to Syndrome, who is like the archetype for how the comic book fan was going to become 10 years later.
Yeah,
it's still relevant.
Syndrome wasn't even about his whole plan.
Yeah.
Syndrome was just like a commentary on
fans. Yeah,
I think and they did that years before like things like Comicsgate or Gamergate, and it was like holy shit! Like these guys knew what this was coming to before it came to, and that's why Syndrome is like a good villain.
So to follow up from that with this person,
it's a very big step.
Yeah, it's a step down. I get it.
and another thing is, I also feel like the first Incredibles movie, it did a good job of wrapping it as a complete story. So it never felt like it needed something.
Yeah.
This one doesn't feel like a complete story. It just felt like it was more just like a stop on the way to another story.
But I am glad to visit those characters again and see that again.
For sure.
Everyone was waiting for that sequel.
I want to see Jack as a villain. I don't think Jack is a problem.
Jack was not. He was very annoying. Like he got very annoying after a while. And I mean, like the fight with the squirrel was tight.
Yeah.
When he fought that squirrel, I was like, "Yo, the raccoon."
Yeah.
I was like, I did not expect this to be like the hypest action in this film, but it really is. But afterwards, it's like this kid is a problem.
Yeah, he's an Omega level mutant. He's going to turn into some fucking like Thanos like being at some point. So I'm wondering if we're going to play with that in the future.
We have a lot of things coming out for 2019, though. 2019 is looking like a wild year. We have Pokemon. We have the Avengers movie. There's Captain Marvel. The films we just talked about. Shazam. I forgot about Shazam. Shit.
Yeah, Shazam. There's gonna be Godzilla.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Shazam.
Yeah, a lot of shit is coming out. Even stuff we haven't even heard about yet. That's probably down the pipeline.
Stories next year.
Definitely not looking forward to X-Men.
Oh right, X-Men. I haven't watched any of those movies
I would
recently.
like to because I love Dark Phoenix. And I hope I'm
it's my story.
I love Dark Phoenix.
I love the actress as well.
I'm really not looking forward to seeing this version of Dark Phoenix.
I don't know. I honestly, cause I didn't really hate Apocalypse either. Like I
didn't watch that yet.
That was not good.
I need to watch those.
Like I feel Apocalypse. I don't know. Like I'm from the camp that I kind of liked the emotional stuff in Apocalypse. But I do recognize that it has problems. But to me, it had more emotion than what was happening at the time. In my opinion, the whole Magneto story and
I honestly felt more during Days of Futures Past than I did during Apocalypse. I feel like Apocalypse, like it wasn't like a full story. Like it just, like literally, this guy just came from the dead and he was just walking through, giving everybody extreme makeovers. Characters had no dialogue whatsoever, no kind of development. Like what it did to Storm and Angel and Psylocke is just criminal. For anybody that was fans of the comics and likes those characters and had hopes of seeing those characters, like that movie is just like
cameos.
Nah. And poor cameos. It was just awful. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that. and a waste of Oscar Isaac. A waste of Oscar Isaac.
I think it was intimidating, but he wasn't the apocalypse that we expected.
Nah,
That's the thing. He wasn't like if you look at Thanos and you look back at Apocalypse, it's like you didn't do the character. You know, it's the apples and oranges. Like one character did its job essentially, and that's the one that's like went beyond expectation and making us like does not fear him but kind of relate to him. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't get that.
I didn't get it from Apocalypse.
I didn't get that from Apocalypse at all.
But for some reason, when I watched it, I didn't immediately hate it. It's just weird too.
Yeah.
I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I was just. Oh shit! Sorry. I didn't hate it. I was just like. That was it.
What I personally would want for X-Men, and I've said this many times, that I prefer Deadpool's version of X-Men.
Yes, I think like Deadpool's version of X-Men is so actually like legitimate.
Yeah.
Like it really is a good understanding of the X-Men story.
Yeah.
And like Colossus, for example, like if you were to like compile a list of like Colossus appearances in the X-Men franchise and write down his lines, you would get one page, sir.
Yeah.
And don't forget like his very biting dialogue in Days of Futures Past that amounted to Mystique. That was the only word he said in the whole fucking movie.
Oh,
they were like,
that was the last movie I watched.
Yeah, because they were talking about like she killed Trax.
I remember that's him.
yeah,
that's right.
And it was like, who?
Yeah.
Mystique. That was his line.
yeah.
Like he never said another word.
They didn't know what to do with Colossus and Bryan Singer's X-Men. But whereas in Deadpool, he's such a good character.
Because Colossus does not shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's where like Colossus is like the most. He's a big guy, but he's like the sweetest, like sensitive. He's very in touch with his feelings, and the result of that is like he just does not shut the fuck up. He's always talking. The man is a walking TED Talk. So to see that, it was like
TED Talk.
That makes sense. Like it's like this is Colossus.
Yeah.
In this like Bryan Singer X-Men, the man was like, who is this guy? Where is he here?
Exactly.
just like slap some chrome on him. He's Colossus now.
I think Bryan Singer does not. I know this is a tangent, but he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the X-Men.
He doesn't. He doesn't like it.
He
thinks it's he's been on record saying he thinks it's silly.
Yeah.
And he's basically, this is my fan fiction of X-Men.
And visually, he's always afraid to show the X-Men in a way that they express themselves. That's why I love Deadpool so much, because yes, it's a uniform, but everyone wears it differently. And you get a sense of who they are based on their uniform.
Yes,
that's what X-Men is to me, right?
Very much. And again, you don't have to go through an entire like exposition, because I know like people like to say this like kind of like this disingenuously whenever I say a character didn't have enough development, and they just go like, oh, this is like you wanted the character to have like a whole backstory. Are you supposed to have like a whole origin? No, but you can show development in a character. You can show like personality in a character. Look at Spider-Verse. You can show it just by highlighting how differently this character looks to everyone else.
Yep.
And that has always been X-Men. When you look at Emma Frost, her costume says more than enough.
It's wealth, power, and status.
Yeah, like she's like, I dress half naked and I don't care because I am just that. Sure, she's very confident in herself, and she's powerful, and she's not ashamed of her power.
Yep. And compared to Cyclops, who believes in like the uniform and the rigidity. And you're right.
Uniform rigidity hides his emotion behind his eyes.
Yeah.
And then you look at somebody like Storm, very regal, very accepting of the fact that she's praised as a goddess.
Yep.
And all of that, just looking at that, it very much like expresses who they are as characters.
And I think Deadpool's version of the X-Men are the only time
the X-Force.
That's the characters like Negasonic Teenage.
Oh my god, that is the most perfect. That is the most perfect scene in like in the Deadpool movie.
Oh, you mean
when they jump?
When they jump and everyone just dies.
Everyone dies.
Even what's his name? Sweet.
Poor Peter.
I was like, that's the thing with like Terry Crews. Like, I was like Terry Crews.
Because I didn't see him in any promotion. I just saw him in the movie. Like,
I was like, Terry Crews in this movie.
Things are about to get lit, and then he just dies. He hit a sign, right?
And then Brad Pitt.
Or a bus. He hit something.
Hit a bus. And then Brad Pitt is sort of electrocuted. Is the Invisible Man.
Not the Invisible.
Yeah, that was on one, but they what it did very well.
I still need to watch the Christmas version.
No, that's Deadpool too, but
I know.
I will watch
it.
But yeah, anyway, as I said, I'm hungover. My guts are cutting me. So, thank you everyone for listening to this show again. Obviously, subscribe.
We're looking to bigger and better things in 2019.
There you go.
Because we're recording this on the 23rd of December.
23rd of December.
So right before Christmas.
In 2 days.
Right before Christmas. I don't think we'll be having a show after.
Yeah, you're going to see us in the new year.
You're seeing us in the new year. Yeah. New year, new podcast. Not the same old podcast. but what will be new is that we'll be doing more video essays, so look out for that on
new
YouTube
content,
channel.
New things to talk about.
Yeah, look at the start of Sway TV, and obviously always growing up to bigger and better things. And I'm hosting an announcement of Rubik's Cube and the Cuban Missile Crisis, aka I Need Some Sleep. Along with me, as always, it's trusty co-host. All right, you guys take it away.
And I'm Zach Stabler. You can find me at Senor Ludiloco on Facebook, Sir Ludiloco on Instagram. That's LUDILOCO. And
It's the cabbage Pokemon.
it's a pineapple. He has a pineapple on
I thought
his
he
head.
was cabbage or like lettuce.
No, it's a pineapple. You can see
Holy
a pineapple
shit.
on his head. It's actually the jolly Pokemon is he's defined.
Oh, the jolly one. But this is Delvin Hole. You can find me on Facebook on the Delvin Sin Shalom Hole. And Instagram is Sin Stabber. Also Offset Comic. If you want to catch updates on my comic, as well as Beyond Publishing Caribbean on Instagram. Check those trio. And here's to a happy 2019. I plan to eat a lot.
Yeah, I can't wait to Christmas Day.
I plan to watch a lot
My
of
house
premieres.
is just full of food.
Oh yeah, I got big cakes and shit now. So you'll see.
I have 3 great cakes in 3 different locations in my house at the
Oh
moment.
my god!
Good stuff.
Mince pies. I don't eat meat, but there's plenty of meat in the house. There's pepper pot. You got your hams, turkey.
Oh, pepper pot. You can bring some for me. Boy. Yeah, pepper pot is
Stop with
awesome.
Zach.
Yeah, boy, for real.
So the party is.
Yeah, we see you show up at your house on Christmas. Like, yep. Yeah.
Couple plates.
All right, well, reporting to you live from Earth 23. This is the Nerd Report. See you next time. Same nerd channel.